Good shot. Oh my!
You can celebrate Georgetown! The Georgetown Raiders are Buckland Cup champions!
The Trenton Golden Hawks, the RWDUIT Cup champions, are going to Coburg.
Back to Minerva. Shot scores! And the Coburg Cougars are the Royal Bank Cup champions!
Evans, Bluntby, they score! Frank Poche, the game winner, and the Buckland Cup winner!
Well, after having their epic 13-game winning streak snapped last week, the front-running North York Rangers were looking to get back on track against the Jayhawks. More on that coming up in just a moment. This is the OJ Today. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. This week, Toronto Patriots broadcaster Steve Colterman is going to join me as we do a review of the South Division so far. Also, we've got a player spotlight story on Joseph Mitzi, one of the OJ's top scorers this season. But first, highlights. And you know, after seeing their ridiculous 13-game win streak halted by Mississauga on Saturday, the South-leading North York Rangers were trying to get things back on track the next day. But the emerging Trenton Golden Hawks had something to say about that. OJ Highlights now, brought to you by Hilton Hotels. Hilton, the official hotel of the Ontario Junior Hockey League. Trenton hot on the heels of both Whitby and Coburg out east, so these were two big points, and Trenton draws first blood midway through the first. 2-on-1, Cameron Gaylor to Griffin Fox, and it goes 1-zip Jayhawks. Second frame, they add to the lead. Jet Alexander doesn't react quickly enough to the Stephen Elliott shot right there. Trenton's leading scorer continues his hot play. 2-0 for the G-men. Third period, the Rangers get one back. Aiden Casey over to Tyler Flack on the doorstep, and the Rangers have some life, down just 2-1. Late in the frame, though, the Hawks put this baby to bed. Andy Baker outraces the D-man, puts it into the empty cage. Two massive points for Trenton, who are now just 3 points out of second place in the East. Okay, the team they're chasing in first place, Coburg, in Aurora to tangle with the Tigers, all Cougars in the first, just a $1.36 in. Puck luck for Ethan Doyle as the rubber ends up right at his feet, and boom, Coburg leading 1-0. Later in the period, George Gutierrez, a gorgeous backdoor pass for Noah Hippolyte-Smith, 2-0 for the Cougars, and things got worse for the Tigers in the second. 4-on-4. Kale Cavalin serves it up for Colton Cianci, who's off to the races, and the perfect finish past Christian Filippetti. 3-0 for the visitors. Third frame, Tigers get one back. Dershawn Stewart making the initial stop here. Nobody clears out Tyler Davis, and they cut the deficit down to 2 goals. Coburg killing any hope of a comeback, though, 10 minutes later. The point shot by Deaglin Small goes in off the butt end of Filippetti's stick. Ouch. 4-1 for the Cougars, and that is how this one ends up. So, the Cougars win the Clash of the Cats, taking down the Tigers 4-1 to hold their slim lead in the East. Okay, the Raiders on the road taking on the Markham Royals. Georgetown draws first blood, just a $1.23 in. Josh Nixon, sweet little move here, and he beats Nick Althus. Raiders lead 1-0 early. Markham would knot it up before intermission, though. Alessio Luciani off to the races, and he beats Nathan Torchia. Luciani, his 6th of the campaign. It's tied 1-1. Second frame, however, despite outshooting the visitors 17-9, Markham goes into a hole. G-Town power play. McJanet to Bailey Malala, and he makes it 2-1 Raiders. Late in the period, it's McJanet doing the heavy lifting again. Mitchell Hewiston finishes the job. Raiders pad their lead up 3-1 after 40. They would add more for insurance in the final stanza as the initial shot is stopped here. Julian Vandervoort pounds home the rebound, though. And these were definitely 2 big points for the Raiders, who right now are in a dogfight with Burlington, Brantford, and Brampton out west. Okay, the Dukes of Wellington visiting Coburg on Monday night, 5:55 in. Dylan Massey surprises Noah Featherstone go with the quick shot that sneaks past him.
1-0 for the defending Buckland Cup champs. Second period, they stretched their lead to 2 goals, and this is a nice one. Andrew Rinaldi, sweet feed to Madoka Suzuki, executed perfectly. Wellington up by a 2-0 count. Cats get one back before the break, however. Jacob Breckles with the seeing eye point shot. That goes shelf behind Olivier Lafreniere. Cuts the deficit in half, 2-1 after 40. Coburg outshot the Dukes 16-10 in the third, but Wellington puts it away. Dipsy Doodle Dandy here. That was Massey with his second of the game. Not proved to be the game winner, but they still added one more. Much easier, though, this one. Suzuki nabs his second on the night into the empty net. It goes to give the Dukes a 4-1 win. Coburg, for the moment, holding off Whitby and Trenton in the East. Okay, Central Scouting came out with their players to watch list, and 4 OJ players are on that list, which is great stuff. Costa Manikis from Stouffville, Eric Ciccolini, the Canadians, Zach Ewens, and Ty Glover. The big news, though, is the alumni that was named. 13 alumni, led by Jack Hughes, who, of course, played for the Georgetown Raiders back in 16-17. He's still projected to be the #1 overall pick in the upcoming NHL draft. Jack was a stand-up for the Raiders in the playoffs. As mentioned, one of 13 OJ alumni. Jack Hughes leading the way, Graham Clark, Billy Constantino, Nick Robertson, Declan Carlisle, and Graham Dickerson, who just left the Whitby Fury to go to the OHL's Kitchener Rangers. Chris Giroday, Hunter Jones, Connor McMichael, Matthew Struthers, Michael Vukojevic, Mitch Brewer, Anthony Romano. 17 players with OJ ties on that list. Congratulations, guys.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the OJ Today. Well, Aurora Tigers head coach Mario Chiquillo has had plenty to be happy about this year. The Tigers have shot out to the best record in the North Division, and it wouldn't have happened without the stellar play of Joseph Mitzi. Now, the veteran with major junior experience has absolutely torched the OJ this year, and we take a closer look at what makes his game so special in this week's Player Profile, brought to you by Cool Sports. Cool, the official apparel provider to the OJHL.
Simply put, there may not be a more skilled player in the OJHL this season than Joseph Mitzi. The 20-year-old sniper has major junior experience in both the OHL and QMJHL, but after suffering an Achilles injury last season, he had a tough time regaining his spot in the lineup with the Windsor Spitfires and was welcomed with open arms by the Aurora Tigers.
Jim Thompson, our owner, was very, very nice, very pushing me to get back to where I was at, and obviously the boys were just amazing coming back, and this year I decided to stay with Aurora. This is the best place for me right now. And, you know, having the team that we have right now, we're really looking forward to going after an RBC Cup this year.
Mitzi brings experience, and boy, does he bring the skill. Joseph currently leads the OJHL in points and is challenging for the goal-scoring title as well. As a veteran player on the Tigers, his confidence went to a whole new level entering this season.
You know, being a 20 now, I'm a little more confident, obviously. Kids' first years in the league, it's a little rough, but being a 20 and coming to Aurora, I bring my speed and skill, obviously my point scoring abilities, and that obviously that comes back to my line mates as well. My line mates are doing a great job. I bring to Aurora a lot of experience because I've been in a couple leagues and I've seen great players. I grew up with Victor Mete, he's playing in the NHL right now, and just seeing all this experience that I can bring to Aurora, I think I can help them out on and off the ice. Obviously, hopefully a little more on the ice, you know, to get to an RBC Cup, to win a bunch of games and make sure that our team's the best at the end of the year.
To me, he's a dynamic player, and where I mean dynamic, he's one of these guys that anytime he gets the puck, it could be in the back of the net, and he makes the other 4 guys on the ice that much better. And even Mitzi, I put him out there to kill some penalties. I put him out there, we pull the goalie. And on the power play, he's got so much respect from other teams, where other teams are paying so much attention to Mitz. that they forget about the other 4 guys on the ice. I mean, I like his game. I like his game. I like his work habits that he brings, and I like his leadership that he's shown wearing an A on the hockey club.
Getting the A was a big deal for Mitzi, who prides himself on his leadership abilities.
Yeah, getting the A, being a part of the leadership group was a huge honor for me personally, and you know, our leaders on our team, especially having Jim Thompson as our owner, like, he puts a lot of thought into our leadership group, and being able to get an assistant captain is a huge honor. It obviously puts a little bit more weight on my shoulders when it comes to talking to the refs and stuff, but you know, I try to keep my emotions intact and just make sure that I set a good example for the younger kids on our team.
Had Joseph not played Major Junior, he'd be a lock to get an NCAA scholarship. Unfortunately, his time in the O and the Q makes him ineligible. Nonetheless, there are many attractive options for him to further his hockey career after junior, and Coach Mario Chiquillo feels Mitzi has a bright future ahead of him.
He's just a goal scorer. You get some of these guys that are goal scorers, and he's one of those guys that you could say he's a goal scorer. And anybody at the next level, if it's Canadian University or if it's pro hockey, everybody's looking for a goal scorer. So I'm positive by the end of the year, you know what, lot of coaches, lots of teams will be knocking on Mitzi's door because of his goal scoring ability.
After this year, hopefully I can pursue CIS if I'm trying to get to Europe, hopefully to make a pro team in Europe, obviously, but the ultimate goal is just to further my hockey career and find the best spot for me. Hopefully the major goal, obviously, to play in the NHL, but you know, for some players it's a little bit of a longer route, and I'm just gonna put my head down every day and keep working hard throughout my hockey career, throughout the season, and hopefully play Europe next year or CIS.
Go, Mitzi rips it wide! Oh, one of the best shots in the CJHL! And Mitzi, the veteran, buries it.
Okay, a reminder, the Eastern Canada Cup taking place in Trenton has arrived. An essential tournament, of course, for scouts who are picking Team Canada East for the World Junior A Challenge. Duncan Memorial Arena in Trenton from November 19th to the 21st. Head to ojhl.ca for ticket information. OJ commitments, two to tell you about. Christos Rodis from Markham will be a Western Michigan Bronco in 2021, and Ryan O'Hara, point per game man for Oakville, is heading to the Bowling Green Falcons. Congratulations, guys. 60-second spotlight brought to you by Troy Apparel. Troy, the official jersey of the Ontario Junior Hockey League.
Stephen McLean, defenseman, Aurora Tigers. What I bring to the ice is a calming influence, shutdown defenseman with some offensive ability, compete night in and night out. Being captain of the Aurora Tigers is a great honor. I feel like I bring a lot of leadership on and off the ice. I give it everything I got in practice and in games. Being 6'7" on ice is you're looking over people and heads over everyone, and you're easy to spot out, that's for sure. This team is something special. We think we have the tools to make it on a far run. We're just taking it day by day, and hopefully we can do that.
Score! The Tigers are gonna win tonight!
Everybody, welcome back to the OJ today. And after trying for a couple of years now, we're happy to finally have him. He's a busy guy. The broadcaster / videographer for the Toronto Patriots, Mr. Steve Colterman, joining us via Skype. Steve, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. You're the man for the Patriots, as we mentioned, and we're going to get to the Pats in just a second. But you've seen all the teams in the South Division this year, of course, by covering the Pats. We got to start with the Rangers. Let's do a review on the North York Rangers. Fourth-ranked team in Canada right now, and just had their 13-game winning streak snapped this past weekend. But man, up to this point, they've just been absolutely on fire, haven't they?
25 games into the season, and they seem to be, they're definitely the front runner in the South, and they seem to be one of the teams in the OJ to beat this season. They are impressive, to say the least. You know, 19-3, 0-3 to start the season. I don't think you can ask for a better record, and a lot of that weighs on the shoulders of goaltender Jett Alexander.
Yeah.
This guy's 18-5, and he has 7 shutouts to his name in 18 victories for the team this year. A 137 goals against average and a 952 save percentage.
Yep.
Pretty impressive, as that team has only allowed 41 goals against. They're tied with Whitby, but Whitby has 4 less games this season.
And during that part of that streak as well was, I believe, a 13 or 14 period shutout streak that Jett had going as well. So yeah, you're right. Absolutely incredible this year. The junior Canadians in pursuit. It's going to take a lot for the JRCs to catch the Rangers this year. But man, they got some great young players on that team. Eric Ciccolini listed by NHL Central Scouting as a player to watch for the upcoming draft as well.
You lose a hot commodity in Jack McBain a year ago, and now Eric Ciccolini, who split time with Milton and JRC a season ago, is kind of filling his shoes. He's moving right in there as their top goal scorer. He is impressive. I saw him last weekend at Westwood Arena, or 2 weeks ago now at Westwood Arena in Toronto, and this guy is fantastic. 24 games played, 14 goals, 22 assists, and 36 points. Now, if you look at that, he's just one of 19 players in the Canadian Junior Hockey League on that NHL watch list, and he's one of 4 in the OJ. So pretty impressive young man, and all the best to him as he looks to have a fantastic season and catch the eye of the scouts.
Absolutely. St. Mike's, typical for St. Mike's this year, a ton of talent. They are younger as usual, but they've been competitive so far this year. They're mid-pack right now in the division, and I was just going to say big wins over North York and Whitby as well. So they've got the power to surprise.
They do have the power to surprise, and they've kind of slowly improved their record to 12-9-0-2, and they've been unbeaten since Sunday, October 21st, when they lost to North York. So they're currently riding a 6-game winning streak, kind of playing with that little bit of a nothing to lose situation when North York's kind of running away with it in the South. So good on St. Mike's, who have picked up 6 straight victories, maybe playing with a little bit of edge, maybe having some fun and some confidence right now. You got 13 players, as you said, who they're 18 years old or younger. So an impressive young group starting to gel a little bit for St. Mike's.
It's a St. Mike's tradition, though. They typically play the younger guys, which means they may not win the title every year, but man, they're always competitive, and they always pump out some fantastic young talent that goes places. We move on now to the Toronto Pats, of course, your team. You got a front row seats for the Pats for every single game. Losing a big chunk of their scoring last year when Petrucci, of course, graduated to the NCAA ranks. But they've had a couple of guys step up in the form of Spaniolo and Bannister, leading the way for these guys. Big drop-off in scoring after those two, though, isn't it?
Well, anytime you lose a guy like Andrew Petrucci, let's just say last season was special for him, and to watch that team make it as far as they did, Game 7 against Georgetown. You know, I know a lot of the guys on that team wish they could have got just 1 step further, 2 steps forward. But Andrew Petrucci, you know, he's walking away with his 100 points and 52 goals. But Spagnuolo and Bannister, they played together last season on a line, and this year the two overagers, they're on the top line, and they're doing pretty impressive. You know, Spagnuolo's got 29 points, Bannister has 26. You know, when I speak to the front office there for the Toronto Patriots, it's just inconsistent play. The scoring will come. They're strong on the offense. They're getting their chances, but it's just inconsistency, and hopefully that team can turn things around.
Yeah. Let's finish off with the Chargers. You know what? I say the same thing about these guys every year. They've got a lot of drive. They've got a lot of passion, this team. They play hard. Joe Washcorrect does a fantastic job with this squad. Right now, it's going to be a struggle for these guys to make the playoffs, but to their credit, they've got the only team, one of the only teams to beat the Rangers in regulation time this year, and they've done it twice now. So good for them on that regard. And also, Yeamans, what else can you say about this guy? One of the leaders in OJ scoring, and you've had your eye on this guy, and you love what you see.
Yeah, he's pretty impressive. You know, he's played 152 games in this league, and he's racked up 135 points. So just shy of kind of a point-per-game guy. But he plays with a little chip on his shoulder, too. He has almost 400 career penalty minutes. So definitely a guy who can find the back of the net with 50 goals in his career, and a guy who's not afraid to get into the corners either. And I think Mississauga as a team, as an organization, watching them, I think they're that type of team that people look at, or other teams in the league see on their calendar and be like, you can't take that night easy. Like, they're not an easy team. It may seem like, okay, they're 4th, maybe 5th in their division at certain times throughout the year, but they come to play every single night, and you better be ready to face the Chargers.
Which is odd, that 8-1 blip they had against you guys a couple of weeks ago, that loss they had to the Patriots, very uncharacteristic of the Chargers to go down like that. Listen, we got about 20 seconds left, just really quick. You do such a great job with your production company. If people want to get a hold of you, give us the information.
Please, look me up on Twitter. I'm on there all the time. It is at Colterman Videos. On Twitter, or coltermanproductions@gmail.com.
Beautiful. Information's on the screen. Thanks so much, buddy, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me. Much appreciated.
All right, Mo OJ Today coming up in just a moment. Hey folks, welcome back to the OJ Today. Well, right now, the hottest offense in the league doesn't belong to North York, Aurora, or even Oakville. No, the last 2 weeks, the team that's been bulging the twine at a ridiculous level has been the Brampton Admirals. 6-1 over the Tigers, 6-1 over Kingston as well, and those red hot sticks continued to produce against Burlington on Saturday.
Goals aplenty in this one from both sides, actually. First period alone was insane. Here's the evidence. It took until the 10-16 mark to get the first one. Matthew Hobbs getting the party started. He makes it 1-0 for the Cougars. Tip of the iceberg. Floodgates were open after that. 2:30 later, Michael Hill beats Matt Dunsmore, all knotted up at 1 apiece. 2 minutes after that, Clark Hibbert blows a tire. Admirals making him pay. Justin Vernace, the finish. 2-1. Brampton. 25 seconds later, Brampton on the power play. Rocco Andreacci will go roof daddy, and that makes it 3-1 for the Admirals. Both teams went quiet for about 4 minutes or so, and then Andrew Salt, don't blink. Wendell Clark would be proud of that wrister. Cougars pull to within 1. 24 seconds later, though, another Cougars giveaway. Dan Burno ends up with the tally. Admirals going back up by a deuce. It's 4-2. 11 seconds later, Mitch Morrison on the doorstep. He puts it home. 3 goals in 25 seconds. That might be a new OJ record. 50 seconds after that, Dan Burno, the beauty backhand to make it 5-3. 8 goals in the first period. They all came after the 10-minute mark. I got to catch my breath. I'm going to pass out. Second frame, just 1 goal. David Mastropolo, the quick shot. Whoa, teams traded goals in the third, 8-5 final. That Brampton offense continues to run roughshod over the opposition. However, Newmarket managed to cool their sticks down on Thursday. Hurricanes drawing first blood. Adam Trotman going stick side on Matthew Lukic. 1-0 for the home side. 2 minutes later, Jalen Barbosa, Derek Sweeney. Canes up by a deuce after 20 minutes. Second frame, 2:29 in. Adrian Neighbors, the point shot, redirected by Adamo Santia. 3-0 for the Canes. Admirals get 1 back. Hudson Lambert, the snipe past Mitchell Weeks to snap the shutout. The teams would trade goals in the third as the Hurricanes hold on for the 4-2 win. Stouffville hit the road on Saturday as they headed west to take on Georgetown. First frame, Jaden Kandata tees it up from the point and rips it past former Raider Andrew Albano. 1-0 G-Town. Second period, the Raiders extending their advantage. Jaden Black, gorgeous backdoor pass for Derek McVeigh. Raiders up by a deuce. It's 2-0. A minute 30 later, though, Bailey Malala, ouch, blocks the shot, and insult to injury. Spirit scores seconds later. Double whammy. Kenny Styles with the goal. It's 2-1. They come also close moments later. Look at that stop, though. Carson Poulin on Costa Manikis. Third period. Raiders blow it open. Jake Payette, point shot. Bounces right to McVeigh for his second of the evening. Raiders with some cushion. Would they keep on pushing? Oh, yeah. Justin Paul. Silky smooth. Dances through the Spirit. Goes top shelf past Albano. 4-1 G-Town. And then Jonathan Hampton. One of the hits of the year. Lays the smackdown on Ian Lemieux at center ice. Moments later, it was a Big Mac attack. Matt McJanet catching Albano looking the wrong way. Matt's 8th of the year. Makes it 5-1. That's the way things finished up. 5-1 Raiders. Starting to get that offense cranked up a bit. Okay, one more for you. Muskies visiting the Fury and Whitby. No scoring in the first. Second frame, Whitby on the power play. Greg Smith doing what he's done all year. That's score. 1-0 for the home squad. 6 minutes later, another man advantage for Whitby. A point shot deflected by Jacob Didinielli. 2-0 for the Fury. The Muskies do manage to avoid getting shut out in the third. Nick Lund, the wraparound. Not enough on this day, though, as the Fury triumph 2-1. Okay, OJ standings brought to you by Jostens. Jostens, the official ring and award supplier to the OJHL. We start in the West. Oakville with a healthy 10-point lead over Buffalo, followed by Brampton, Brantford, Burlington, and the Raiders just a point behind there. To the north, Aurora. 11-point cushion over second place Markham, followed by the Canes, the Panthers, and the Stouffville Spirit. To the south, North York just blowing it open right now. Big lead over the Canadians, followed by St. Mike's. Mississauga climbs out of the basement now in fourth place. And in the east, Cobourg, Whitby, Trenton, Wellington. That race is going to be fascinating to watch. And Kingston is threatening to get up in there as well. The top 5 brought to you by Chaos, the official hat provider to the Ontario Junior Hockey League. We start at number 5. Georgetown's Jonathan Hampton, one of the best open ice hits of the year so far. Absolutely laying the smackdown on Stouffville's Ian Lemieux at center ice. Ouch. Number 4, Brampton's Hudson Lambert with the wicked snipe over the shoulder of Newmarket's Mitchell Weeks. Number 3, another Admiral, and Dan Burno. Watch the fierce backhander here that beat Matt Dunsmore last weekend. Very nice. Number 2, Wellington's Dylan Massey shredding the Cobourg D, and then the sweet finish for the cherry on top there. Beautiful play by the Dukes forward. And number 1, Georgetown Stouffville, Carson Poulin, the grand larceny on Costa Benikas right there. Take another look at this one. Benikas right on the doorstep, and Poulin makes the point-blank stop. Beautiful. That is our Chaos play of the week.
And we're out of time for this week, folks. But just remember, to keep up to date with the league, you can always head to ojhl.ca. And of course, all of your social media options are right there for you to check out as well. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you next week.